Okay, so today I want to talk about a quote that I seen this morning on Facebook and how it relates to life, like everything that we see kind of happening in the world right now. It really triggered the need to talk about this a little bit deeper today. So the quote is, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the quote and then I'm going to talk to you about how we can implement this awareness or this knowledge into our daily life, into our daily practice, so that we can, you're going to see the quote is all about your spirit. So how can we kind of call our spirit and call our spirit back into our body so that we can be more in alignment with our truth? So the quote is, "The body will most likely heal if the spirit remains unbroken." And it's so profound to me because I can relate it a lot to my life personally, and how when I think back to the past, before I created so much awareness and self-inquiry, to how broken and unhealthy I felt compared to now. So I'm just going to kind of dive right in to a really obvious example that many of you can probably associate with: the media. First of all, let me say this. In Ayurveda, and this doesn't just go with Ayurveda, this is quantum physics. Albert Einstein talked about this. Nikola Tesla spoke about this. It's becoming more common knowledge in the Western world. Everything that we take in, every thought, everything we see, all the food we eat, information, it has to be digested and processed at a cellular level in our body. So, the media, mainstream media. Think about how you feel when you watch the news, if you still watch the news, if you're still choosing to watch the news. How do you feel? You are choosing to ingest, process, and digest that information, and the energy that you consume around that situation, circumstance, topic, whatever it is ultimately what your body is going to process and digest. If that makes sense to you. So let me give you another example. Your food. So when you eat healthy, oh, my battery's gonna die. 1 sec. I'm gonna go plug my battery in. It's gonna die. Okay, I'm back. So, all right, where were we? When you're eating something healthy and you know that you're doing something good for your body, how do you feel when you're doing that? How do you feel when you're eating that super healthy salad with, the 6 tastes and all the different nutritional value that's packed in that salad? How do you feel when you eat that? Now, how do you feel when you eat big piece of chocolate cake? How do you feel? Because ultimately what happens is how you feel and the thoughts that you have when you are consuming that, whether it's information or food, is how your body is going to digest and process that at a cellular level. So if you're eating a salad and you're like, this is so good for me, my body is going to be nourished, I'm going to be so super healthy, this is so healthy for me, your body will respond with that way, right? It's going to respond with, this is good for you. We're going to process these nutrients, and these nutrients are going to go to where they need to go, and they're going to build the right hormones and the specific bodily tissues that need to be for this specific body type, right? And we're gonna make sure that this body feels good. And then when you're eating that cake and you're thinking, oh, I'm so fat, like this is just gonna go straight to my thighs. This is so bad for me. My doctor is gonna be so upset with me. I'm so disgusted with myself. Like, just think of all of those negative thoughts that you might tell yourself if you're eating a piece of cake and you're not happy about it, but it tastes so good, right? Think about it. That is how your body is going to respond. That's what you're digesting. That's what you're ingesting. And that's how your body is going to process it. That's how your body will respond. So let me give you an example of me yesterday. So yesterday, I wanted a Snickers bar. I don't know what it is about Snickers bar lately, but like every once in a while, I'll crave a Snickers bar. So I was craving a Snickers bar. And because, I study Ayurveda, the first thing I thought was, okay, why? Why do I want this Snickers bar? Is there an emotional reason? Is there a mental reason? Or does my body need sweetness? Do I need to balance out some hotness in my body with some sweetness, right? So, or is it just a craving? Like, do I just want it just purely to satisfy a craving? Usually there's an emotional reason why we crave sweet. So, do I need more sweetness in my life? Eventually, I just decided, no, I just want this chocolate bar. Like, I just want to eat the chocolate bar. It's going to taste really good. So when I ate that chocolate bar, the whole time, I did not feel one shred of guilt. I ate it and it tasted so good. And I just really, really enjoyed every bite that I took of that chocolate bar. And so that is how my body is going to process that chocolate bar for me, because I've developed the awareness and the trust in my body. So when you consume something with negative feeling, guilt, shame, whatever it is attached to it, that is what you're consuming, ingesting, and going to process. I chose to eat that chocolate bar with complete trust that my body is going to process it properly, because I've trained my body, I've taken care of my body, and for the most part, I make good choices for my body. So this is going to serve me because it's satisfying me right now. It tastes so good and it makes me feel happy, right? So how do you take in the information or the food that you take in? Because that is how your body and your brain is going to respond. So here's the thing. Our brains develop neural pathways. They're called neural pathways. And what those are like ridges, grooves that over time, from doing the same thing over and over again, your brain will develop. And then your tendency will be to just consistently always go down this path. Now, how are some of the behaviors and patterns in your life serving you? And is it, this is a really triggering question, but you might want to ask this question once in a while. Is this an addiction? Am I attached to this? The way that I respond to this, am I attached to it? And is it a codependent? Am I codependent with this thing? So the news. Think about the news. You likely watch it and then you tell yourself, this is BS. I shouldn't be watching this. It doesn't feel good, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I know. And I'm afraid to be left out or out of the loop. So are you attaching to a fear that's related to that addiction or whatever it is that you are having difficulty letting go of? And I want to bring something up to everyone in the spiritual community, or what some might call the truther community, that I noticed over time also. Because I noticed a long time ago, mainstream media was lying about a lot of things, and most of us have figured that out by now. And I noticed a long time ago that it was not serving me watching mainstream media or believing everything they threw at me, because all it was doing was lowering my vibration, lowering my frequency, making me feel like crap, and causing a lot of chaos in the world, right? Because everyone is choosing to believe either one side or the other. So then I decided to start watching alternative media. And I started connecting with other groups and communities that have a different perspective. But then I started noticing that there was also a lot of information that I was taking in these communities that also didn't make me feel good. Yes, maybe it's aligned more with my truth and what I believe in my heart, but it's still, I had to discern, right? You always have to discern and refine what it is that is true to you. So I don't spend a lot of time in those alternative media or chat groups anymore either. Because even though some of the beliefs may be more aligned with what I believe, it's still not entirely my truth. So I need to find new ways to serve myself for my highest good that don't distract me and don't veer me off the path of my truth. So how do you create new neural pathways? The best way to do that is to do something completely out of the ordinary that you don't normally ever do. So yesterday I went for a bike ride, which is something I haven't done like all by myself. Sometimes I'll go with the kids, very rarely, but all by myself. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I ever did that, if I ever did that. So yesterday morning, after I dropped the kids off, instead of doing what I always do, I went for a bike ride. And I just decided to take in only what I wanted to take in. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't worry about what I was going to do when I got home. I just wanted to go for a bike ride and just do something different. So this is the best way to start creating new behaviors and new neural pathways that serve you. Next time you turn on the news and you notice that feeling in your body, you can choose to go do something different. So here are 3 questions to ask yourself when you are ingesting anything, whether it's food or information, okay? Number 1, notice how you feel in your body. And this is so super important because our bodies are not only a conduit for light, but they're also a conduit, or sorry, they're also a receiver. So our body is highly, highly intuitive. And all of the answers to a lot of the questions we have, we can feel within our body. It's just we have become so disconnected from that awareness that we go on about our day without, like, we're so overstimulated. So become more aware of how you feel in your body when you're taking something in, and where in your body do you feel it? And then notice what you're thinking is the second one. Notice the thoughts that are coming in when you're ingesting that information or the food that you're eating. Notice what you're thinking. And then the third thing to ask yourself is, can I choose a more empowering perspective? Can I choose something more empowering? So I gave you the example of the chocolate bar. I gave you the example of the media, and personally how, I made those choices in my life. And then I already talked to you about how you can ask yourself if it's something that you're attached to and if it's serving you. But the key and the number one thing to take away here is that you have to be willing. You have to choose, and you have to be willing to create this kind of awareness of yourself. You have to be willing to be your own, like, private investigator, to self-inquire. A lot of people are afraid to do this work. They're afraid to self-inquire. They're afraid to investigate, because if they investigate themselves, we spend so much time investigating others. We spend so much time critiquing others. But when it comes down to critiquing ourselves, that means we have to take responsibility, right? For the changes that we're making. And if those changes don't work out, or the discomfort that we're going to feel, because we're probably going to be feeling uncomfortable for a while if we're changing, right? If we decide to become more aware and to really inquire about ourselves, our truth, and to get in alignment with, like, who we really are and what we really want to be and feel, that means we have to take responsibility. We have to be fully, unapologetically responsible for all the choices that we make. So this is the key. This is the key, is notice where you're comfortable. It really comes down to comfort. Notice where you're comfortable. Because if you're too comfortable, it probably means you need to create some more awareness around that. So hopefully you guys got some good nuggets out of this. This was actually take 2. I recorded an entire video about this topic like 10 minutes ago, and my mic wasn't on, so there was no sound. So hopefully this came out organized. It definitely didn't go as organized as I had it in my mind, but hopefully you got some good information here. And yeah, just remember, what you're taking in, even if it's not something tangible that you can touch and feel, your body is still processing it. Your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your body still has to process that. So be super responsible with what you're choosing to take in and how you're taking it in. So if you want to go and eat that piece of cake, how are you going to ingest it? How are you going to eat it? Are you going to hate yourself the whole time? Or are you going to eat it like you deserve it? There's always 2 different ways. two different ways that you can go, two different ways that you can choose. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, drop them below. You know how to reach me. You can always reach me on Facebook. I'm sending you so much love. Thanks for listening. Mwah. Namaste.